If you were to sit here and you listen to what happened to the Sahaba who disobeyed the Prophet ﷺ, you would start judging them. How could they do that? How could they, at the moment of need, they came off the mountain, they disobeyed the Prophet ﷺ. The scholars, they say, well, if you were at their time, maybe you and I would have been on the opposite side, so don't judge them. Right? Don't ever judge what happened to them. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you know what He said to the Prophet ﷺ? Oh Prophet, forgive them, pardon them, and include them in your advice. They learned from their mistakes. وَشَاوِرْهُمْ فِي الْأَمْرِ. Meaning what? Allah forgave them. If Allah did not define them by one of the greatest mistakes made in Islamic history, He will also not define you by your mistakes that you make. So don't allow your sins to define you. SubhanAllah, some Muslims, they're involved in sinning, and then they're like, you know what, this is who I am, and I'm involved. Why are you defining yourself by your sins? Your sin and Allah are two different things. There was a brother named Gabriel in Texas, or I was in MSA, I talked to him about Islam. We were at the dawah table, and this guy was Catholic, and I told him everything about Islam, and this guy's mind was blown about everything about Islam. So I said to him, okay, you gotta accept Islam now. He's like, I can't. I said, you just said you agree with everything, so what do you disagree with? He said, I can't leave my girlfriend. And I said to him, what does your girlfriend have to do with God? And that kind of shocked him. A lot of people allow girlfriend, drinking. None of this has to do with you and your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're all a work in progress. So Allah did not define you by your mistakes. Don't define yourself by it either. Number two is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke about those companions when they made that mistake by allowing the materialism to affect their hearts. Allah said in the Quran from one of those 52 ayat, مِنْكُمْ مَنْ يُرِيدِ الدُّنْيَا وَمِنْكُمْ مَنْ يُرِيدِ الْآخِرَةِ. There are some among you that came here, they wanted material wealth and blessings. And some of you that wanted the hereafter. Ibn Mas'ud said, we did not even know that Allah would speak about what's in our hearts until He said it in the Quran. So Allah knows the state of your heart and your sincerity. Right? So that is a powerful sentiment. Number three, the lesson of Uhud is Muhammad Rasulullah. The lesson of Uhud is Muhammad Rasulullah, which means obeying the Prophet. If you disobey the Prophet, what happens? Loss, lack of success, lack of blessings, lack of direction, lack of guidance. And that's why the Muslim Ummah continuously fails the lesson of Uhud. From an individual level, from a community level, from an Ummah level, we're just not learning the lesson of Uhud. And the lesson of the Battle of Badr, remember the first battle of Islam, is La ilaha illallah. What does it mean to absolutely rely on Allah? When it's all odds against you. How do you rely on Allah when you're being literally surrounded? That's Badr. And Uhud is Muhammad Rasulullah. Okay? The last lesson that we learn is the status of those who sacrificed. Look at the sacrifice of Mus'ab ibn Umair. You know how rich he was? He was so wealthy that he would wear clothes and then get rid of it. He would wear shoes like we say Gucci shoes. He had shoes that Yemeni kings wore. His perfume, they said we could smell him that he was here for days. If you don't know what that smells like, Shaykh Mahdi, what you do is you go to Abdul Samad al-Qurashi, the famous oud store. You go there and you said, I wanna see oud thaqil. It's 10,000 riyals for this much. Wow. So he shellacked his body with that. They said he could smell him. He gave all of that up for Islam. What have you sacrificed? Did Allah ask that from you? No. We are complacent and comfortable in America as Muslims. We sometimes believe in prosperity gospel, that if Allah gives us wealth and blessings, that means it's a sign of our success. Maybe this is the greatest test we have. So remember, Allah's testing us in different ways than He tested the Sahaba, but they sacrificed. What is it that you're sacrificing?